Hey guys, so getting right into it, today we're going to be discussing pages 29 through 80 in Looking for Alaska. This is 126 days before to 52 days before, or in Miles's time, the day that school starts until Thanksgiving break. On the first day of classes, we get to meet Miles's teachers and some of his classmates. But the person who really stuck out the most to me was Dr. Hyde. From the moment that we meet him, I love Dr. Hyde, and this is when Miles first sees Dr. Hyde for the first time. "My name," he said, "is Dr. Hyde. I have a first name, of course. So far as you are concerned, it is Doctor. Your parents pay a great deal of money so that you can attend school here, and I expect that you will offer them some return on their investment by reading what I tell you to read, when I tell you to read it, and consistently attending this class. And when you are here, you will listen to what I say. Clearly, not an easy A. This year, we'll be studying 3 religious traditions: Islam, Christianity, and Buddhism. We'll tackle 3 more traditions next year. And in my classes, I will talk most of the time, and you will listen most of the time. Because you may be smart, but I've been smart longer. I'm sure some of you do not like lecture classes, but as you have probably noted, I am not as young as I used to be. I would love to spend my remaining breath chatting with you about the finer points of Islamic history, but our time together is short. I must talk, and you must listen, for we are engaged here in the most important pursuit in history, the search for meaning. What is the nature of being a person? What is the best way to go about being a person? How do we come to be? And what will become of us when we are no longer? In short, what are the rules of the game, and how might we best play it?" Now this directly connects to Miles and the labyrinth and the great perhaps, which Miles quickly notes in his notebook right after Dr. Hyde says this. After Pudge's first week of class, we find the Colonel trying to iron a button-down shirt for a date that he has. His date, Sarah, ends up coming over, and the Colonel still fails miserably. And because of that, they instantly start fighting. Now, this makes it apparent that the Colonel doesn't like his relationship, and the question that we must ask is, why has the Colonel trapped himself in this labyrinth of this relationship with Sarah? And to answer this, he says, "I know. Why don't we break up?" He ran a hair through his hair, clutching a fistful of it atop his head, and said, "I guess I stay with her because she stays with me, and that's not an easy thing to do. I'm a bad boyfriend, she's a bad girlfriend. We deserve each other." Now this is important. The Colonel is accepting that he's not perfect, and that usually he's very hard to get along with, and that his relationship with Sarah isn't working out, but he still wants it to last. Over a week later, we find Pudge, Takumi, Alaska, and the Colonel going to a place they call the Smoking Hole, which is a concrete slab under a bridge that is going over a stream. Here we hear 2 things. One is that Takumi has a reputation for freestyle rapping, which is honestly one of my favorite traits about him. But second, when Pudge asks Alaska why she's going through her cigarettes so fast, she replies, "Y'all smoke to enjoy it. I smoke to die." And a week later, she says something similar over a study group at McDonald's, which is, "I may die young, but at least I'll die smart." Now this points to Alaska's not fascination with death, but her acceptance of it. Right after, we find out about Alaska's name origin, which is because her parents let her choose it, and this is what she says. "Well, later I found out what it meant. It's from a Aleut word, Aliska, which means that which the sea breaks against, and I love that. But at the time, I just saw Alaska up there, and it was big, just like I want it to be. And it was damn far away from Vine Station, Alabama, just like I want it to be." Weeks later, the group goes to a basketball game, right after of which Alaska states that she has found Pudge the perfect girlfriend, Laura. Alaska would also be bringing her own boyfriend to this game as well. And at this game with the Culver Creek Nothings, which they call themselves, the Colonel tries to maintain his reputation of being kicked out of every game by taunting and insulting the 6'7" giants on the other team, nicknamed the Beast. Now this doesn't go over smoothly, and as the Beast turns towards them, Pudge and Takumi decide to run. And as they are running out, Pudge is hit over the face by a basketball thrown by the Beast. And as everyone is crowding around Pudge to see if he is alright, Pudge immediately vomits on Laura's jeans. This doesn't really mean a lot. I just really like this part. But something important that did come from this was that as Pudge was at the hospital getting checked out, the Colonel broke up with Sarah. he decided that it was best just to do it and to get it over with. But the thing is, after doing it, he was really depressed about it. He was sad because he knew that they were bad people and that they fought constantly, but they were so similar in that way. It was after this the rains came and Culver Creek was plunged into wetness. And it was here that a few weekday warriors decided to prank Alaska by putting a tube leading from the gutter in the roof into her room, flooding it and ruining a majority of her life's library. And it is here that the Colonel shows his devotion for his friends, saying, "God will punish the wicked, but before he does, we will." After the Colonel's declaration, Takami and Miles have their first intimate talk, just the two of them. Here they go out into the woods to smoke, and Takami tells Pudge that Alaska was the one who ratted on Myra, the girl who was kicked out last year, and that the Colonel couldn't know because he takes the loyalty very seriously. And even though the two don't talk about much else, this is still a major building point in Takami's and Pudge relationship. Finally, just before Thanksgiving break, Alaska somehow convinces Pudge to stay with her at the creek over Thanksgiving. And Pudge and the Colonel talk about this and the Colonel's recent breakup. And here they say, "I just saw Sarah," he said. "How'd that work out for you?" "Bad. She said she still loved me." God, I love you really is the gateway drug of breakup. Saying I love you while walking across the dorm circle inevitably leads to saying I love you while you're doing it. So I just bolted. I laughed. He pulled out a notebook and sat down at his desk. "Yeah, haha. So Alaska said you're staying here." "Yeah, I feel a little guilty about ditching my parents though." "Yeah, well, if you're staying here in hopes of making out with Alaska, I sure wish you wouldn't. If you unmoor her from the rock that is Jake, God have mercy on us all. That would be some drama, indeed. And as a rule, I like to avoid drama. It's not because I want to make out with her." "Hold on." He grabbed a pencil and scrawled excitedly at the paper as if he just made a mathematical breakthrough and then looked back at me. I just did some calculations, and I've been able to determine that you're full of shit." And after this, Pudge and Alaska talk once more, and I'm going to leave you with the ending of their conversation. "What am I going to do?" "You'll spend Thanksgiving with me, silly. Here." "So why don't you go home for vacations?" I asked her. "I'm just scared of ghosts, Pudge, and home is full of them." As always, thanks for watching.